Welcome to My Expat Stories. This one's going to make you question every emergency text you ever get. This one's from Kevin, 52, IT manager from Denver, widower. Before I read it, let me tell you something. Kevin did everything right. He was careful. He took it slow. He verified what he could. And he still got destroyed. Sometimes being smart isn't enough. Hit that subscribe button and like this video. Kevin reverse image searched everything and still lost $27,000. Here's what happened. My name's Kevin. I manage IT infrastructure for a healthcare company. Servers, databases, security protocols. I've been doing it 28 years. My job is to think 3 steps ahead, anticipate problems, verify everything. My wife died 2 years ago. Cancer. Took 11 months from diagnosis to the end. I stayed with her every day, took leave from work, held her hand, did everything I could. It didn't matter, she died anyway. After the funeral, I went back to work, threw myself into it. 14-hour days. Came home to an empty house. Ate frozen dinners. Went to bed. Woke up. My daughter said I needed to get out. See the world. Mum would want that. She'd been planning trips before she got sick. Places she wanted to visit. Colombia was on the list. Said she wanted to see Cartagena. The old city. The colonial architecture. I booked a flight in February. 2 months in Cartagena. Rented an apartment in Gethsemane. Walked the walls every morning. Sat in plazas drinking coffee. It was quiet. Peaceful. I needed quiet. I wasn't looking to date. Wasn't even thinking about it. But I downloaded a dating app one night. Just to see. Just to feel like I was still alive. Matched with Natalia 3 days later. Her profile said she was 34. Teacher. Taught English at a private school. Photos showed her at beaches, at restaurants with friends. Normal stuff. Nothing that screamed fake. We messaged for a week before meeting. She asked about Denver, about my work, about why I came to Colombia. I told her about my wife. She said she was sorry. She didn't push for details. Just said loss is hard, I like that. She didn't treat me like I was fragile. Didn't overdo the sympathy. Just acknowledged it and moved on. We met for coffee near the clock tower. She showed up on time. Looked like her photos, dressed casual. Jeans, white shirt, sneakers. We talked for 2 hours. She told me about her students. About teaching English grammar to kids who didn't want to learn it. I told her about managing IT teams who didn't want to follow security protocols. We laughed about how similar it was. Week 2 we had dinner. She picked the place. Small restaurant in the old city. Local spot. No tourists. She ordered for both of us. Explained each dish. We split the check. She didn't let me pay for everything. Said she had a job, she could contribute. I appreciated that. Felt like she saw me as an equal. Not as some rich American she could use. Week 3 we walked the city walls at sunset. She pointed out buildings, told me their history. Spanish colonial era. Pirate attacks. Independence wars, she knew a lot. I asked if she studied history. She said no, just grew up here. When you live somewhere long enough, you learn its stories. Week 4 we were seeing each other, every few days. Dinners, walks, coffee. She'd text me good morning. Ask how my day was. Send photos of funny things her students did. It felt normal. Comfortable. Like dating someone back home. Week 5 she invited me to her apartment. Small place in Manga. 1 bedroom. Clean. Books everywhere. Lots of English novels. She made dinner. Pasta with shrimp. We drank wine. Talked until midnight. I left. Kissed her goodnight at the door. She smiled. Said she'd see me tomorrow. Week 6 I started thinking this might be real. Might be something. I wasn't ready to call it serious, but it felt like it was heading that direction. Then she didn't show up for our date. We were supposed to meet for lunch on a Saturday. I waited at the restaurant for 30 minutes. Texted her. No response. Called. Straight to voicemail. I figured something came up. Maybe a family thing. Maybe she forgot. I went back to my apartment. Spent the afternoon working. Checked my phone every 20 minutes. Nothing. Sunday morning I got a text. I'm so sorry, I'm in the hospital. Motorcycle accident yesterday. I'm okay, but I can't really talk right now. I called immediately. It rang twice, then went to voicemail. Texted back asking which hospital. She responded an hour later. Hospital Boca Grande, room 304. I grabbed my wallet and keys, walked to the hospital. 10-minute walk from my apartment. Got to the front desk. Asked for Natalia. Gave her last name. The receptionist typed into her computer. Looked up. Said there's no patient by that name. I said she texted me. She's in room 304. The receptionist checked again. Said room 304 is empty. No patient assigned today. I showed her the text message. She shrugged. Said maybe she got transferred. Try Hospital Santa Cruz. I walked to Santa Cruz. 20 minutes in the heat. Asked the front desk. Same thing. No patient by that name. No record of her. I called Natalia. No answer. Texted. I'm at the hospital. They said you're not here. What's going on? She responded an hour later. They transferred me to a private clinic. I'll send you the address. She sent an address in Manga. I took a taxi. Got there in 15 minutes. It was a small clinic. Looked legitimate. Went inside. Asked for Natalia. The woman at the desk said patients are only allowed family visitors during surgery recovery. I asked when visiting hours were. She said family can visit after 6 tonight. I said I'm not family, but I'm her boyfriend. She said sorry, family only. I waited outside until 6. Went back in. Different person at the desk. Asked for Natalia again. He checked. Said no patient by that name. I said she had surgery today. He said they didn't have any surgeries. Scheduled today. Clinics closed on weekends except for emergencies. I stood there confused. 3 hospitals. 3 different stories. None of them had her. My phone buzzed. Text from Natalia. I know you tried to visit. Thank you. They won't let anyone in right now. I'm in surgery. I'll call you when I wake up. I texted back. Which clinic are you at? I've been to 3 places. No response. I went home, sat on my couch, stared at my phone. Something was wrong. I could feel it, but I didn't know what yet. Around 9 that night, she texted again. I'm out of surgery. Everything went okay, but the bill's crazy. They want $2,400 before they'll discharge me. I don't have that kind of money. There it was, the ask, the reason for all of this. I stared at the message for a long time. Thought about my wife, thought about hospital bills, thought about how $2,400 for emergency surgery in Colombia actually seemed reasonable. I texted back, what happened? What kind of surgery? She said she broke her leg in the accident, needed pins and plates. Showed me a photo. Her in a hospital bed, bandages on her leg, IV in her arm. She looked scared. I asked which clinic again. She said it's complicated. They moved her. She's at a recovery facility now. She'd explain everything when she got out. I said I'd help. Asked for the payment details. She sent me the clinic's banking information. Said they needed it by tomorrow or they'd keep her there until she could pay. I didn't send it that night. Told her I needed to verify it first. She said okay. Said she understood. Said thank you for being here for her. I didn't sleep much. Kept looking at the photo she sent. Kept thinking about the hospitals that said she wasn't there. Kept trying to make sense of it. Monday morning I called the number she gave me for the clinic. It went to a generic voicemail. No name, no message. Just a beep. That's when I knew. That's when I should have stopped. But I didn't. I sent the $2,400. Told myself I'd rather help someone who might need it than ignore someone who actually did. Told myself that's what my wife would have done. She always helped people, even when they didn't deserve it. The transfer went through Monday afternoon. I texted Natalia, told her it was done. She responded immediately. Thank you so much. They're processing the discharge now. I'll call you when I get home. She didn't call. Sent a text that night. Said she was exhausted, in a lot of pain. Would talk tomorrow. Tuesday morning she texted. Said the clinic released her, but she needed medications. Strong painkillers. Anti-inflammatories. Antibiotics. Total cost $800. Her insurance wouldn't cover it because the accident was her fault. She wasn't wearing a helmet. I asked if she could send a photo of the prescriptions. She sent one. Looked official. Pharmacy letterhead. List of medications in Spanish. I googled a few of them. They checked out. Real drugs used for post-surgery recovery. I sent $800. She thanked me. Said she'd pay me back. I told her not to worry about it. Just focus on healing. Wednesday, she said she needed to see a specialist. Follow-up appointment to check the pins and plates. Make sure everything was healing correctly. Specialist visit was $1,200. Insurance wouldn't cover that either. I hesitated. $3,400 in 3 days, that was a lot. But I thought about surgery complications. About infections. About what happens if you don't get proper follow-up care. I sent the $1,200. Thursday she went quiet. No text, no calls. I messaged her asking if she was okay. No response for hours. Finally, she texted back around 6, said she'd been sleeping. Pain was bad. Medications made her drowsy. Friday, she said she needed physical therapy. Doctor recommended it to prevent stiffness. 8 sessions, $2,000 total. Had to pay up front. That was the moment I should have said no, should have asked more questions, should have demanded to see her in person. But I didn't. I was already $5,400 in. What's another $2,000 if it helps her walk normally again? I sent it. $2,000. She said thank you. Said she'd start therapy Monday. Saturday morning my phone rang. Unknown number. Colombian area code. I answered. A man's voice. Spoke English with an accent. Said his name was Marco. He was Natalia's roommate. Said she'd collapsed at home. Ambulance took her back to the hospital. Internal bleeding from the surgery. Needed emergency operation. I asked which hospital. He said Hospital Naval. Said they were in the emergency room now. Doctors said she needed surgery immediately. Cost was $3,000. They wouldn't operate until someone paid. I said I'd be there in 20 minutes. He said no family. Only in emergency situations. Better to just send the money. Every minute counted. I asked to speak to Natalia. He said she was unconscious, couldn't talk. I asked to speak to a doctor. He said doctors were busy preparing for surgery. No time. Something in his voice felt wrong, too calm for an emergency, too scripted. But the fear in my chest was louder than my doubts. I sent $3,000. Told Marco to call me when she was out of surgery. He said he would. Hung up. I didn't hear anything for 6 hours. Texted Marco, no response. Called back. Number was disconnected. I texted Natalia. Message didn't deliver. Called her. Out of service. I grabbed my keys, walked to Hospital Naval. Asked for Natalia. No patient by that name. Asked if they had any emergency surgeries today. Woman at the desk said they had 2. Both male patients. No women. I showed her Natalia's photo from the dating app. She'd never seen her. I asked about a patient with internal bleeding. She said no one came in with that condition today. I stood there in the hospital lobby trying to piece it together, trying to figure out what just happened. My phone buzzed. Text from a new number. This is Natalia. Sorry my phone died. Marco told me you sent money for the surgery. Thank you. I'm okay now. Recovering. I'll message you tomorrow. I called the number immediately. It rang once, then disconnected. Tried again. Number was out of service. I sat down on a bench in the hospital lobby, pulled out my banking app, calculated what I'd sent. $2,400 for initial discharge, $800 for medications, $1,200 for specialist, $2,000 for physical therapy, $3,000 for emergency surgery, $9,400 in 5 days. I searched for Hospital Naval on Google Maps, pulled up reviews. One review from 3 months ago. American guy. Said, beware of scammers using this hospital's name. They'll claim your girlfriend needs emergency surgery. I lost $4,000. Hospital has nothing to do with it. I read it 3 times. Then I reverse image searched the hospital photo she'd sent me. The one with her in bed, bandages, IV, found it in 6 seconds. Stock photo from a medical supply website, used in articles about hospital care. Downloaded 9,000 times. I checked the pharmacy prescription she sent. Reverse image searched that too. Stock photo. Medical blog about post-surgery medications. Not real, not hers. I went back to the clinic she'd named. The one in Manga. Asked to speak to the manager. Explained the situation. She listened. Said this happens every month. Someone uses their clinic's name. Claims to have a patient there. Collects money. Clinic has nothing to do with it. They've reported it to police. Nothing changes. I asked if she'd ever seen Natalia. Showed her the photos. She shook her head. Said she'd never seen her before. I walked back to my apartment. Didn't take a taxi. Needed to walk. Needed to think. When I got home, I opened my laptop. Searched for Natalia's photos on Google. Reverse image searched every single one from her dating profile. Found them. All of them. Downloaded from Instagram accounts. Different women, different names, different countries. Someone had collected photos of attractive women and built a fake profile. Natalia didn't exist. The teacher, the apartment in Manga, the students she told stories about, the dinner she cooked. All of it was real in the moment, but the person wasn't. I checked the dating app. Her profile was gone, deleted, like it never existed. I sat at my laptop staring at the bank transfers, at the fake prescriptions, at the stock photos, trying to understand how I fell for something so obvious. I'm an IT manager. I verify everything. I check sources. I don't trust without proof. That's my job. That's who I am. But I sent $9,400 to people I never met, based on text messages and stock photos, because I wanted to believe someone needed me, because I wanted to feel useful again, because my wife died and I didn't know how to fill that space. I went to the police Monday morning, brought printouts, bank transfers, screenshots, the stock photos, everything. The officer looked through it, asked if I'd met her in person. I said yes, 5 times over 5 weeks. He asked where. I gave him the addresses, the coffee shop, the restaurant, her apartment in Manga. He said he'd send someone to check the apartment. Came back 20 minutes later, said that address is a commercial building. No apartments, just offices and a pharmacy. I said I was there, I went inside, had dinner. He shrugged, said maybe I remembered wrong, or maybe she borrowed someone's place for the night. He took my report, said they'd investigate. I never heard back. My bank said the same thing they always say. Transfers were authorised. No fraud protection. I sent the money willingly. Dispute denied. I tried reporting the dating profile, but it was already gone. Nothing to report. So that was it. $9,400 gone. No recourse, no justice. Just a case number that meant nothing. I stayed in Cartagena another 3 weeks, paid for the apartment through the end of the month. Didn't want to waste that money too. Walked the walls, drank coffee, sat in plazas, tried to process what happened. The thing that bothered me most wasn't the money. It was the dinner. Week 5. She cooked pasta with shrimp. We drank wine, talked until midnight. I kissed her goodnight at the door. That felt real. The conversation felt real. The way she laughed at my stories about IT disasters. The way she explained Colombian history while we walked the walls. All of it felt real. But it wasn't. That woman wasn't Natalia. I don't know who she was. Maybe she works with the scam crew. Maybe they hire actresses. Maybe she does this every week with different men. I went back to that apartment building in Manga, the one the police said was commercial. Stood outside for 20 minutes, tried to remember which floor, which door. Couldn't. It all looked different in daylight. Maybe I was never there, maybe she took me somewhere else, and I misremembered. Or maybe the whole thing was so well planned that even the location was fake. I deleted the dating app, deleted all the messages, didn't want to look at them anymore, didn't want to reread conversations and wonder which parts were scripts and which parts were improvised. I flew back to Denver in early April, got back to work. My team asked how Colombia was. I said it was beautiful, said I needed the time away. They didn't ask more questions. My daughter asked if I met anyone. I said no, kept to myself mostly. She seemed relieved, said she was worried I'd rush into something. I told her she was right. The $9,400 came out of my retirement savings. I've been building that account for 30 years. Now it had a chunk missing. I ran the numbers. If I kept contributing the same amount every month, I'd make it back in about 2 years. If nothing else went wrong. I thought about the prescriptions she sent. I'd Googled those medications, checked if they were real. They were. Real drugs for real post-surgery recovery. That's what made it believable. She didn't make up fake drug names. She used real ones. Did her research. Made it look legitimate. Same with the hospital photos. She didn't use some random picture. She used professional medical stock photos. The kind that show up in healthcare articles. High quality. Believable. Unless you specifically reverse image search them, you'd never know. That's the level of planning. That's what separates a good scam from a bad one. Details, research, knowing what questions marks will ask and having answers. I'm trained to spot this stuff. In my job, I review security protocols. I look for phishing emails. I train employees to recognize social engineering attacks. I know the red flags, and I still fell for it. The red flags were there, she wouldn't let me visit the hospital. 3 different locations with 3 different stories. A roommate I'd never heard of suddenly calling about an emergency. Numbers disconnecting immediately after transfers. But in the moment, each thing had a reasonable explanation. Hospitals have strict visiting policies. Patients get transferred. Roommates exist. Phones die. Colombian networks are unreliable. Every red flag came wrapped in a reasonable excuse. And I accepted them because I wanted to help. Because I'd spent 11 months watching my wife die in a hospital, and I couldn't do anything to stop it. And here was someone I could actually help. Someone I could save. Except she didn't need saving, she needed my banking password. I don't date anymore. Deleted all the apps. Not interested. My daughter says I should try again eventually. Says Mum would want me to be happy. Maybe she's right, but not now. Not yet. I still think about that dinner sometimes. The pasta with shrimp. The wine, the conversation. I remember laughing. Remember feeling like I could be myself. Like I wasn't just the widower, or the IT guy or the dad. Just me. That's what they sell. Not sex, not romance. Connection. The feeling that someone sees you, that someone cares. And once you buy into that feeling, the money part becomes easy. Of course you'll help. Of course you'll send what they need, because they're not strangers anymore. They're someone who matters. The police officer told me something before I left. He said these crews are organised, professional. They have scouts who identify marks. Profiles get built. Attractive women who can pass for late 20s, early 30s. They meet you in person a few times, build trust. Then the accident happens. Always an accident. Car, motorcycle. Something sudden. Something believable. He said they do about 6 of these a month. Mostly target men over 45. Widowers and divorcees. People who came to Colombia alone. People who look lonely. They make about 8,000 to 10,000 per mark. Sometimes more if the mark has money. It's a business, they have a system. I was just inventory. I keep the bank statements in a folder on my desktop. Don't look at them often, but they're there. A reminder that being smart doesn't make you immune. That loneliness makes you stupid. That wanting to help someone can cost you everything. $9,400 in 5 days. That's what I paid to feel needed again. Some people would say I got off light. Could have been worse, could have sent more. At least I figured it out before Marco asked for another 10,000 for complications. Because he would have. They always do. Keep going until you stop sending. I stopped at 9,400. That's something I guess, not much. But something. That's Kevin's story. This is my Expat Stories. Another one coming at you soon.